Alright, man. So, I'm sorry I'm doing this, and I'm sorry about the lighting situation. I couldn't get set up in the other room that I'm staying, so we're in my old room. But literally, the reason I have my Wesker glasses on is not because I'm doing the Resident Evil DLC review. It's literally because the sun is, like, directly in my damn eyes right now. I can't. I'm, like, blocked as shit. So, that's why the lighting is all jagged up and why everything looks all fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm not in my normal setup, but it is what it is, so we gotta deal with it. So, the Resident Evil 8 DLC hath droppeth, and there's gonna be spoilers in this. I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible, but I hated it. And I want to preface, I want to put a statement on there that I hated it. Not because I thought it was a bad game. When I was watching it, I'm like, okay, this might be one of these situations it is way better to play than watch. But I'm not playing this, and I'm watching it, and I'm not having a good time. Like, pretty much halfway through, I started playing phone games. If it was earlier in the day, I would have probably fell asleep on it. But I did not like it. Okay. Now that that's out the way, let me get into why I didn't like it. I am not going to say that the game was terrible by any stretch of the imagination. It looked, like I said, it looked fun. It looked like it was a lot of fun to play. It had a lot of really cool elements, like you could use Rose's special powers and like, I don't know how old she is, but she was kind of young to be handling firearms, but she had a firearm and was killing mold monsters. And basically, let me give you a short recap of how we get to this point in the room. So, in Resident Evil 7, her father, Ethan Winters, he basically was looking for his wife who disappeared and was presumed dead because she was on some tanker transporting basically what boils down to a mold-generated bioorganic weapon to some place in South America. I want to say it was Chile, but I don't remember. But she was supposed to be transporting this bioorganic weapon to Chile with some people from some shiesty-ass organization called... What the fuck were them people called? The Connections. That's what it was, the Connections. So, there's a storm. The tanker gets all jacked up because the bioorganic weapon named Evelyn, like, is hell-bent on having a family because she's the embodiment of a 10-year-old kid. She looks a little older than 10, but I think she was supposed to be 10. So this is how we get into the Resident Evil 7 situation. So she infects these people called the Bakers. They get all mold infected because she wants a family. Evelyn, or as I'm going to affectionately call her, Evelyn, wants a family. And what the hell ever, she infects everybody she comes in contact with because she's determined that she wants to have a family. And that's how we meet Ethan and get all into the Ethan Winters story. So fast forward through Resident Evil 7, they basically kill Evelyn. She turns into a blooming onion and dies, and that's what happens to her. So fast forward to Resident Evil 8, it's like a couple of years later. Ethan and Mia, who are married, they have a child now. The child's name is Rosemary. She has a giant damn head, and I feel bad for Mia's lady parts. But so this other chick decides that Rosemary's going to be the vessel because her daughter died in the Spanish flu pandemic in the early 1900s, and she wants to basically get a vessel to have her child come back to her. So they kidnap Ethan's daughter because she has the strongest mold powers or what the hell ever. And Ethan goes on a foray to save her. Chris gets involved because it looks like Chris kills Mia, but that's not really Mia. It's Mother Miranda, who's the woman who wants to have her daughter back. Somebody had an excellent wrap-up of Resident Evil 8 done in shorts form. I will post a link to that. But Basically, it boils down to Ethan wants his daughter back. Mother Miranda wants her daughter back. Everybody's tussling over Rose, and Ethan saves Rose. He dies in a tragic, massive grease fire, basically. But Rose grows up, and that's what we see at the end of Resident Evil 7 at the end credit sequence. And she's like, I have powers, and I can show you things that Chris doesn't even know I can do, and blah, blah, blah. So that line of, I can show you things Chris doesn't even know I can do, actually is where her DLC comes in. So she's talking to some dude in Chris's squad who he miraculously didn't get anybody killed. First time for not doing that and sending that man in with a team, but that's neither here nor there. She's talking to one of them hound wolf. I'm not going to say it's like ringing of Metal Gear, but that's also neither here nor there. But instead of Wolfhound, it's Foxhound, though, in Metal Gear. Again, neither here nor there. So she's talking to him. He's like, well, you can get your powers removed if you go into the memory of the Megamycete, because that's the mold stuff. That's what it's called. If you go into the memory of the Megamycete. So this is where the DLC comes in. And this is where Achan was like, okay. So Rose goes into the memories of the Megamycete, right? And like she sees the masked Duke. They don't really either that. I was watching, believe it or not, I was watching Gamers Little Playground play this, and not like their movie version of it. I was actually watching them play the actual game, and I didn't know they played the actual game. I thought they just played the game, cut them up, and made them into movies. I don't know what their gender is, but they have the movie version of that out already, and I should have watched that, because watching the DLC is about 2 hours. It was 2 hours and 26 minutes, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt ripped off at the end of that 2 hours and 26 minutes. I've never in my life felt like I wasted 2 hours of my life watching a game more than I did watching this DLC. This was like, how can I put this that won't sound mean? Basically, I hated it, but I hated it for the reasons I can't stand any more Winters foray. I am tired as a whole of the Winters family. I'm just sick of the Winters family altogether. I do not want to see or be a party to any more Winter stories. They are not compelling characters to me. And I was looking at a review that somebody's video game review thing did today. I can't remember if it was Polygon, IGN, Norrent, or what the fuck is that other one? Game something, not Stomp, but it was like some game. I don't remember which one, but they were like, yeah, Winters just seem like they're just dragged unwillingly into stuff, and they're really kind of one-dimensional, and they just seem like they have no agency. And I'm like, yeah, the Winters are just always unwittingly dragged into nonsense, and it is like they have no agency, and they are just, I'm sorry, they are not compelling characters. There's nothing about Ethan or Rosemary or Mia. There's nothing about their characters that makes me eager to go on an adventure with them. Anything that I watch with any of these people is just, like I told myself this morning, I'm like, it's like watching an accountant do their job during tax season. It's nothing compelling. It's just nothing there. There's no substance there. They're just people doing a thing, and it's just like, I don't care. You don't have the personality to make me happy to go on this adventure with you. I'm just on some dumb random adventure, and I don't like it. It's not fun. There's nothing about this that's fun, exciting, amusing. And don't get me wrong, because basically it was just going through the masked Duke part was just a dramatic re-going through, except with new boards of Lady Dimitrescu's house. And like, I didn't mind Lady Dimitrescu's house. It was fun for what it was, but I didn't really care. I didn't care then. I don't care now. And then like you go past and you see that she has like a closet full of those white dresses. I'm like, damn, bitch, you can't like get like a skirt into the mix. Like, you just wearing one dress, I guess. So I guess they thought that would be cute or funny or whatever. And it was just like, oh, okay. And that's pretty much how I felt about the whole damn adventure. It was just, oh, okay. So yeah, there's that. And we also got a dramatic retelling of going through my favorite part of Resident Evil 8, the dollhouse. And like, I wanted so bad, because that is literally my favorite part of Resident Evil 8, is going through Donna Benevenito's playhouse of scariness. I literally watched that whole thing in the dark last night. I didn't have a light on, and I never once even got a little nervous. Like, I got a tiny bit nervous during one part of the dollhouse, because, and here's the first of the spoilers, there's a part, if you know, what the fuck is this show called? Not Silent Hill, that's not a show. Doctor Who. If you know Doctor Who, and you know about the weeping angels, if you don't know, they're these creatures that, like, if they're looking at you, they won't attack you. But the second you turn, they're, like, right up on all over your shit. And the concept of the weeping angels, something that can attack you when you turn your head, is just something that fills me with complete and utter dread. That was the only part that kind of had me nervous, but even then, I wasn't really nervous. I was just like, oh, I don't like this concept. But I never once got that pit in my stomach, like, oh, I think I'm going to be sick feeling. And it was creepy, but it wasn't it. It just was not it. And at the end of that, spoiler number 2, they drag Evelyn back into it. And it's like, I want to be special. You took my family away from me. And it's just like, she is not a compelling villain. Why do you keep bringing her back? I don't care how many times you bring Evelyn back. It's just never going to be compelling to me. She's just not going to be that compelling, like Wesker. Wesker to me is a compelling villain. You know why? Because his motivations are so messed up and so jacked up that it's just like, damn. But then when you kind of step back and look at humanity as a whole, you like, damn, baby, you had a point. But a compelling villain. Even though in the games, I give him more dimension when I write fan fiction for him. But in the game, he is a little more one-dimensional, but still way more compelling than Evelyn is. Oh, I want a family. You're not even a human. You're mold. What are we doing? This is not interesting stuff here. Give me more meat on these bones. So, no. She fought her, and I was bored that whole boss fight. I was just like, oh, God, can I go home? I am home. That was fast. So, I was just like, okay. And then by that point, I was literally playing phone games, because that's how little I cared about this adventure. It just did not pull me in. And I was just like, okay. And by this point, honestly, by the time we get to Evelyn, you're literally, I want to say, a good 2 hours into the game by the time we get to the Evelyn portion. And I'm that damn bored, and I'm like periodically clicking to see, I'm like, how much time we have left? How much time we have left? Oh, we got too much time left. And then I'm bored. I'm like, it's like that line on The Simpsons. We're all frightened and horny. We're all mildly annoyed and bored. So, not compelling. So, we finally get, and there is a spoiler I'm not going to mention, but we finally get to the last part where, again, they, spoiler number 3, bring up Mother Miranda. And I'm just like, again, not a compelling or interesting or even really scary villain. So basically the long and the short of it is, she tricked that dumb I'm about to call her Mia, but Mia's daughter, I'm about to call her Applehead because she has a giant ass head. Rosemary, she tricks her into going into the memories of the Megamycete because she's still trying to bring her daughter back from the dead. It's like, it's been over 100 years, lady. I think it's time to get some grief counseling in your life. So they have this grand battle royale, and things happen, and I'm not going to spoil the whole thing for you in case you want to see it, but it was so not it. I skipped through most of that Mother Miranda fight because at that point, it's like 2 hours and 20 something minutes, and I was so angry at this point. I was so mad by the time we got to this because I was like, okay, this was a fucking waste of time. So we get to the end, and that's when you find out that when you find out she says that line, I can show you things that Chris doesn't know I can do. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And that's where it ends, and I'm just like, okay. This was a waste of time. This was a waste of time. This was a waste of energy. This was a waste of effort. And I'm thinking, if you love the Winters and you love the Winters arc of Resident Evil, you're going to goddamn love this. And there are things to love there. For me, I hated it. It was not the adventure I asked for. The Winters will never be compelling characters. And this whole Evelyn, Mother Miranda, I swear to God, if Capcom persists in shoving any of these idiots down my throat, I will once again turn my back on the Resident Evil franchise, which is going to make me sad because I don't have a AAA title to attach myself to. So, I can't do it with the Winters family anymore. I'm so sick of it. If they tell me in Resident Evil 9 that's the road that they're going down, I'm done. I will be once again done with Resident Evil. I was done with Resident Evil after they fucked around and killed Wesker. I will be done with them yet again if they persist in forcing me into another Winters adventure. I don't like this family. They are boring and annoying, and I can't do it. And true to form, what did I say? I was like, they're going. If it's probably going to be like, I don't know what's going on. And wasn't Rosemary? What's going on? I don't know what's going on. I was just like, oh my god, you're not compelling. You are annoying and boring, and it needs to goddamn stop. So that is why I did not like the DLC. It was not it for me. I am sorry if that's not what you want to hear. I'm sure you can find plenty of other reviews where people were like, oh no, it was slapped, it was great. I'm sure it is. It's just not the adventure I asked for, wanted to be on, or enjoyed watching. I have never really, even when I watched Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 5 made me mad, I didn't feel like I wasted my time. I felt like I wasted 2 hours of my life that I will never get back, and that makes me super mad. I'm getting hot thinking about it. That's how I know I'm mad. So, Capcom, you gotta stop with the Winters. It is not that deep. It's just literally not that story. It's not that deep. Please stop bringing these people into my life because I'm sick of them. So that is all I have, and I was hoping to keep this short, but apparently not. But I don't know what to tell you. If you want to go play it, it's out. Go play it, and if you love the Winters, you will enjoy this. It's just, it was literally not it for me. And I feel ripped off, and I will never see those 2 hours again as long as I live. And I skipped through half of a boss fight, but whatever. So, I don't know, the fucking DLC later.